Hello, hello, my fellow YouTubers. It's me again, Carlita, your Spice Queen, with another word on the curb. And the word on the curb is that Andy Cohen finally holds the ladies accountable during part two of the reunion, part two of season 7 reunion. And I have the 411. But before we get started, let's do what we do naturally. Let's first like, subscribe, share, then let's comment. And if you are already a Spicer, please hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted when I upload new content. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now, you know, with every word on the curb, it involves an article. This information is brought to us by Showbiz Cheat Sheet, and it is authored by Brenda Alexander on February 26, 2023, and it reads like this. For years, there have been debates on whether or not Bravo's honcho Andy Cohen should host Housewives reunion. He's been accused of showing favoritism, being biased in his line of questioning, and skipping over major areas of contention. There was much drama to unpack during season 7 of The Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. And it reads on. With conversations surrounding colorism, physical assault, and sexual predation, many wondered if all could be tackled in a 3-part series. More so, there was concern if Cohen would hold the cast to the fire. For the first time, arguably, in Housewives reunion history, Cohen held everyone accountable on all subject matters. Here are the major segments in which Cohen put the cast members in the hot seat. Now, it says, the cast discussed how colorism impacts perceptions of behavior during the reunion. Now, throughout the past 3 seasons, there's been a growing discussion about colorism as it relates to the cast on social media. Cohen has touched on it briefly at reunion specials, but due to their intense outcry over what transpired in season 7, he had to give the issue more time. Social media users have expressed huge outrage over how lighter skinned cast members have been able to escape consequences. I don't know what's wrong with my voice today. Has been able to escape consequences for violent or aggressive actions, while darker skinned cast members have been punished. Perfect Dixon verbally abusing her co-star or physically intimidating them, and no one doing anything about it. Mia Thornton's violent drink toss towards Wendy Osefo garnered no angry reaction from lighter-skinned co-stars. Says Ashley Darby. Meanwhile, Monique Samuel was vilified. She was vilified for physically attacking Candace Gillett Bassett in season 5. Due to being a white male who doesn't deal with colorism, Cohen let the cast speak on their experience as he sat back, listened, and learned. But his insistence that the subject be discussed in detail says that he too notices an issue. He also refused to allow Dixon, Mia Thornton, or Giselle Bryant to ignore their fault and instigation in Osefo having a drink thrown in her face. The question now is whether or not a 5-minute segment was enough to tackle the subject. It should have been a separate episode. However, the effort was there, or another segment could have been completely scrapped, i.e., Brian's discussion of her hysterectomy as it was only shown in 2 scenes throughout the season. Another one, Andy Cohen grills the Green-Eyed Bandits over them escalating the fight between Mia Thornton and Wendy Osefo. Speaking of Dixon and Brian, the BFFs seemingly enjoyed Thornton throwing a drink in Osefo's face. Cohen called out their hypocrisy over how they responded to Samuel's incident versus Thornton's. And it reads on. Dixon first acknowledged that after being assaulted, Osefo had every right to react and how she chose to. But Cohen was confused and disturbed by Dixon's accusing Osefo of being the antagonizer. Dixon's excuse, that she didn't want Osefo to fight on camera was disputed by her recording the aftermath and telling Osefo several times in the scene to fight or be quiet. Unseen footage would later show Dixon explaining that Osefo should retaliate when the cameras were off to salvage her public brand. When Osefo argued that it didn't matter, Cohen agreed. As for Brian, she claimed the situation between Thornton and Samuels were different, alleging she felt Samuels, quote, beat up Candace, end quote, but Cohen wasn't having it. Once Brian admitted she simply doesn't like Osefo, Cohen questioned her moral compass. The next one, titled, The Bravo Honcho is still confused about Giselle Bryant's claim against Chris Bassett. Here we go. Let me take a minute here. Slight pause. Brian has been in a ton of mess this season, per the usual. But this time, she hasn't been able to slide back with her interpretation of how things went down, as production has brilliantly played clips that contradict her version of events. This couldn't be more true than in regard to her recollection of an interaction with Chris Bassett that she says left her feeling uncomfortable and demanding, an apology from him. According to Brian, she didn't feel comfortable being alone in a room as a single woman with a married man when Bassett asked to speak to her about his wife. Cohen shot back in part 1 of the reunion, stating her issue with optics is dated, especially because she was a close friend of the Bassett's. In part 2, Cohen reminds her that she stands by feeling uncomfortable with the situation, which is why she should be empathetic to Osefo's feeling violated by having a martini thrown in her face. A purse hit her by Thornton, but Brian remained unfazed and Cohen was clearly stunned. And that is the end of that. So guys, tell me, do you think Andy Cohen actually held these women accountable? Do you think Andy had those secondary questions? Do you think Andy cornered them? Well, I personally think Andy did a great job. And if you haven't seen the reunion part 2, then you might want to go see that because it shows, it can explain it better than my reading it or telling you, because he really, really did the thing. He really, really did. And I'm proud of you, Andy. Okay? So, guys, please leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you all think about part 2. Andy holding these ladies accountable, and stuff. So I'm very, very interested in that. I just can't wait for part 3 to come. So without further ado, I will see you in my next video.